Good afternoon from inside the Vinderley Center here at Schumann Stadium. It is February 5th, National Signing Day 2020, and what an exciting morning it has been for this Ball State football program. We're joined by head coach Mike New. Coach, 7 young men making it official this morning. Looking at this group as a whole, what excites you the most about today's signees?
Well, obviously just having 7 more key additions to our family that we've worked really hard at. Our staff has worked extremely hard to recruit these young men, to show them the fit that they are for our family, how we plan to utilize their skill set. And it's exciting because there's a lot of key pieces here that just continue to make our team stronger, more competitive, and again, it's a well-rounded group, and that really excites me.
We don't want to waste any time getting to these guys, so let's start on the offensive side of the ball. We've got 2 additions to the receiving corps, so we'll start with Justin Campbell, 6'5", 180, coming to Muncie out of Johns Creek High School in Georgia.
Yeah, obviously the first thing that jumps out is the size. To be 6'5", to be able to move the way Justin moves, he's got so much upside. He's got great range. I mean, obviously when you have that kind of catch radius, obviously that's exciting because every quarterback would love to throw to a big target like that. So we're excited about him because for a guy that's that big, he can certainly run. He's got great change of direction and a lot of upside for us to work with.
Joining him, we've got QIAN MAGWOOD, a 3-time team captain, 2-time All-State receiver in QIAN, out of Walnut Ridge High School in Ohio. And if you will, talk to us a little bit about QIAN, but then also the importance of maybe bringing in a few more guys at wideout.
Yeah, you know, obviously the first thing you touched on there that you love about QIAN is him being a captain. And whether he's on the football field, whether he's on the basketball court, he's the ultimate competitor. And QIAN believes that no matter what court he takes, whether it's the basketball court, football field, that he's going to win. And his attitude, his competitive spirit is very contagious. And you know, he's got one of those skill sets that we plan to use him in so many different ways. He can hurt you out playing wideout. He can hurt you as a returner. He can hurt you, you know, getting him involved in the reverses, getting the ball in his hands. Who knows, you know, maybe as a wildcat quarterback. But we're excited about the number of different ways to be able to use QIAN, his versatility, his competitive spirit, and certainly his leadership ability.
Coach, moving to the defensive side of the ball, we've got 4 young men who inked their names this morning to join our program in 2020. Let's start up front, if you will. So Chris AGYEMANG, a graduate transfer defensive lineman out of Sacred Heart University in Connecticut. And one thing that comes to mind when we talk about Chris is experience.
No question, it all starts in the trenches. Chris AGYEMANG is a great addition for us. He was an all-conference player at Sacred Heart. He was a 3rd-team All-American player at Sacred Heart. And when you talk about adding a guy in the trenches with the kind of experience that Chris has, he is a complete player. He's tremendous versus the run. He's outstanding versus the pass. And so to get a guy in here with Chris's experience, with Chris's leadership ability in a lot of ways, he's very similar. He reminds me a lot of Walter Fletcher that we had last year, getting a grad transfer that you know, just has all the qualities that you look for in a young man. And we can't wait to get Chris in here, and certainly credit our defensive staff, Coach Stockton, Coach McKenzie, for being able to solidify the deal here with Chris.
One more guy in the front 7, outside backer Keontae Newsom, comes in at 6'3", 215 out of Blackman High School in Tennessee. One thing we talk about Keontae, we obviously talk about the importance of versatility and what that brings to the table. And Keontae is certainly one example of that. Yeah,
you know, Keontae is one of those guys to be 6'3", to be 215, to be a guy that when you watch his tape, he makes plays all over the place, defensively, offensively. He's a great athlete, and obviously to put him in those that many positions that they did at Blackman High School tells you about his intelligence level, and so he's going to be a great addition to us. He's going to be in the outside linebacker room for us, and great skill set to be able to be a guy that has the versatility to be good against a run, to be good against a pass, and certainly having the pass rush ability that he does really excites us.
Moving into the secondary, we've got 2 additions, but we will start with JT Wahi, a graduate transfer out of Norfolk State in Virginia. One of the big things we talk about JT is just the all-conference competitive attitude that you're going to get with him.
Yeah, you know, JT is one of those guys. We list him as a defensive back because feel very strongly that he can he can play safety for us, he can play corner for us, he can play the nickel position for us. And so to have the kind of ball skills and the playmaking ability that JT does, that's exciting. And he's one of those guys that, you know, through the recruiting process, his intelligence level, his football instincts, those certainly stood out for us, and he's going to be a great addition knowing that he can play several different positions for us, and it's exciting to have a guy with that versatility.
And joining JT in the secondary, we're going to have Jack Blanco coming in at safety, an all-conference athlete out of San Diego Mesa College in California. What stands out specifically when you watch Jack's tape?
Yeah, obviously we wanted, the emphasis that we placed on size and getting, from a size standpoint, getting a little bit bigger at the safety position. But he is a physical, hard-hitting safety that's got great range. He's made several plays on the back end when you talk about trying to throw the ball down the field. Jack's done a tremendous job of showing his ball skills and range to be able to cover some ground on the back end. But he's a guy that loves to come downhill and run support, and that's going to be a welcome addition to add another young man in the mix for us that we feel very confident about versus run, and having the kind of a range versus a pass to be a difference maker.
And finally, wrapping up today's signees, we did sign a specialist with this class as well, Lucas Burrow out of Newcastle, Australia. Now, technically his signing day was yesterday because there's a 16-hour time difference between here and there. But what kind of just raw talent does Lucas bring to Ball State? Yeah,
Lucas was technically the first signee of this group of young men, and so Lucas couldn't be more excited about him because of his strength, his leg strength, his versatility. He can perform a number of different kicks, which is important now, certainly in the college game. And his versatility, and he's one of those guys that when you're coming a long way from home, it was really important to make sure that we got Lucas to visit Muncie, to visit our community. Our players in our program really embraced him, made him feel welcome, and that's important because it's a long way from home. We want to make sure that Lucas feels great, and his mental toughness, that was one thing that certainly his coaches spoke very highly of him, and he comes from a pro kick program over there in Australia that's turned out a lot of kickers before Lucas that are doing a lot of great things here in college programs all over the country. So he's a great addition for us to this class.
Excited to get Lucas back here on campus and the rest of today's signees. That wraps up what has been an exciting morning here at Ball State football. Coach, a very exciting day here for your program.
It's awesome. It really kind of brings this 2020 class to an end, if you will. All the hard work that's put in by our staff, both support staff, coaching staff, a lot goes into it. Appreciate all the hard work here on campus during the official visits, having these young men here, all the people that were involved in showing them what Ball State is all about. But it's exciting to add these 7 young men to our roster and to our program, and we're just one step closer now to getting things kicked off here for 2020.
As Coach mentioned, 7 young men making it official this morning to become the next chapter in this Ball State football program. A few words of head coach Mike New. Coach, thanks for joining us today. On behalf of all of us here at Ball State football, thanks for joining us and have a great day.